Hello, dear friends. There is very little scholarly information on the Eastern traditions of alchemy, but I have found some curious facts. Opinion piece. Hindu alchemy, currently practiced. It is based on the dry way of fire. It is a millenary oriental tradition, practiced by many Indian families, also practiced by Thai monks. Indian legends speak of super powers. Alexander the Great brought Greek alchemy with him. The jewel Chintamani would be the Philosopher's stone. Chintamani is the wish-fulfilling stone. Nicolas Roerich had a stone that was given to him as a gift. It seeks the spiritual transmutation of the human being. Tibet considers metallurgy to be a divine science. The people of Tibet have been practicing alchemy for millennia. Let's start. There are many traditional families in India who spend their lives melting pure gold and cooling it abruptly thousands of times to produce the fatigue of the metal and obtain a white gold powder that would be aureous oxide. But that wouldn't be monoatomic gold, but biatomic gold, since this oxide contains two molecules of gold and one of oxygen. According to current chemical science, there are only two gold oxides, the white aureous oxide and the reddish auric oxide, with two gold molecules and three oxygen molecules. This would be a dry way of Hindu alchemy, different from the slower wet way, because it uses heat. This process is called in Sanskrit putha or pusha, a common term for the pieces that make up the circumference of a wheel or a skein of gold threads. Even as a dry way, it takes many years to achieve results, apart from the physical danger of melting a metal every day at over 1,000 degrees Celsius. Some Thai Buddhist monks also practice the alchemy of melting metals. In ancient times, some believed that eating their daily meals served on golden plates could slow aging. Also, during the Great Black Plague in Europe, some alchemists thought they could cure the sick by making them ingest finely powdered gold, but today it is known that metallic gold is inert or could be even toxic. Although aureous oxide would be less so. Traditional alchemy is both material and spiritual. The division between spiritual alchemy and material chemistry is a modern concept, since both disciplines were united since ancient times. Alchemy shares the same goal as all spiritual traditions, which is the enlightenment of the human being. A difference is the means used to reach the same goal. Spiritual practice is done to change the programming of the mental software, while chemical practice is done to transform the bodily hardware. Misunderstanding. Alchemy is largely misunderstood in the modern world. Most simply know it through its mysterious process of transmuting base metals into gold. But as an ancient maxim goes, gold is not vulgar gold. One of those golds in alchemy is, and always has been, the spiritual transmutation of the human being. Many consider alchemy as a metaphor for inner transformation, but this is only half of the story. According to Catherine McComb, alchemy is not a mere metaphor, it is real magic. Transforming the inner world is for the alchemist a way of transforming the outer world. By studying the principles of alchemy, we can achieve extraordinary effects from ordinary actions by understanding how the world really works. we can perceive the hidden connection between the spiritual and material worlds. Knowledge of this connection enables us to influence external phenomena through the power of the heart and mind alone. However, alchemy is not entirely like some forms of magic, the exercise of mind over matter. It is the art of taking what already exists, whatever is present, and transmuting the harmful into useful, the useless into valuable. Traditions. Alchemy is a rich and complex esoteric tradition that has flourished throughout the world since the beginning of recorded history, if not before. There are three main traditions: Western Christian, Indo-Tibetan, and Chinese Taoist. Within this diversity, there are many common characteristics. According to tradition, major alchemy is that which works with metals, and minor alchemy is that which works with other substances, such as dew, seawater, sea salt, plants, etc. Major alchemy looks for metal oxides, but oxidizing gold is the most difficult and slowest, because it is the most stainless metal that exists. It is first dissolved in aqua regia and then oxidized. The natural metal deposits in Central Asia encouraged alchemy and experimentation with metallurgical materials, as evidenced by the large number of Arabic treatises dealing with the science. The science of alchemy, chemistry, and medicine originated in China, Egypt, and India, but all underwent important developments in the Islamic countries of Asia and in Tibet and Mongolia throughout the Middle Ages. Tibet and Mongolia also made a great contribution, with influences from India combined with those of East and West Asia. Many of the ancient Tibetan philosophers believed that metallurgy is a great divine science revealed to the world at the beginning of the present Kalpa or world period. In Taoism, there were two types of alchemy: outer alchemy, which was the chemical productions of elixirs, and inner alchemy, which was based on symbolic meditation. Tantric Buddhism is a form of inner alchemy that works to transmute the body, speech, and mind of the practitioner. There are methods of outer alchemy in the Tibetan tradition, but the laboratory alchemy is mainly found in the purification of mineral substances. History. The history of Indian alchemy dates back to the pre-Vedic period. Archaeological excavations at Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro in the Indus Valley have brought to light that humans in ancient India possessed chemical knowledge since the prehistoric period. In the Vedic period, individual herbs were prescribed. Minerals and animal substances were also prescribed, but compound preparation were not used then. Alchemy in India was initiated for the preparation of an elixir of life, and later for the process of spiritual transmutation. Greek alchemy was introduced into ancient India through the invasion of Alexander the Great in 325 before Christ, and left the Greek state called Gandhara, which ended for a long time. There is a possibility that the Indians acquired the idea from the Greeks, but it could have been the other way around. Eventually, alchemy took root in the vast field of Indian scholarship, and in metaphysical and philosophical doctrines such as Samkhya Yoga, Vaisheshika, and Ayurveda were inevitable. External laboratory-based Hindu alchemy would also be internalized from the 13th century onwards. However, there was a final phase in the history of Indian alchemy that can be called Siddha spiritual alchemy, This is most easily identified by its emphasis on combining the use of alchemical preparations with the practice of internal and external yogic techniques in order to achieve both an immortal body and a state or mode of being of a semi-divine Siddha. Practitioners of Siddha alchemy often refer to themselves as Siddhas, that is, the perfected beings they aspire to become through their practice. Philosopher's Stone. The Chintamani stones is a mythological jewel that fulfills all desires within the Hindu and Buddhist traditions, which would be the equivalent of the Philosopher's Stone in Western alchemy. Within Hinduism, it is connected to the deities Vishnu and Ganesha. In Buddhism, it is held by the Bodhisattva of compassion, Chenrezig or Avalokiteshvara. It is also seen carried on the back of the winged horse depicted on Tibetan prayer flags. The Hindu Vishnu Purana speaks of the Syamanta jewel, which bestows prosperity on its owner. A magical jewel, it manifests all that one desires. According to the wishes of its wearer, treasures, clothes, and food could be manifested, while sickness and suffering could be eliminated. It is a metaphor of the teachings and virtues of the Buddha. According to Buddhist legend, the stone fell from the stars and landed in Tibet, where ancient Buddhists revered it as a spiritual jewel. However, its power was considered so great and so potentially disastrous that it was eventually sent to the mystical and hidden city of Shambhala. In Buddhism, Chintamani is said to be one of the 4 relics that came in a chest that fell from the sky during the reign of King La Totori Nyantsen of Tibet, although the king didn't understand the purpose of the objects. He held them in a position of reverence. Several years later, 2 mysterious strangers appeared at the king's court and explained the 4 relics, which included the Buddha bowl and a Chintamani stone with the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum inscribed on it. These few objects were the Dhamma bearers to Tibet. Brotherhood of the Star. Others say that Chintamani is a sacred stone that comes from the Sirius star system. Millions of years ago, during a galactic superwave, a planet orbiting Sirius A exploded. Its fragments traveled in all directions, some of them reaching Earth after a long journey through interstellar space. Later, this same piece was given to a certain Templar group near Untersberg, and then to the Brill girls who channeled the technological knowledge for the first space program on the surface of the planet since the fall of Atlantis. Another piece was given to Nicolas Roerich, who tried to achieve world peace with it. It is well known banner of peace is a symbol related to the triple star system of Sirius. Chintamani is also the sacred stone of the Brotherhood of the Star, the last true remnant of the mystery schools of light of Atlantis. It dissolves implants of darkness and subconscious sin, increasing your desire and ability to follow the divine voice within, as you carry out your life purpose and mission. Chintamani stones are pure light and their energy cannot be misused. They help dissolve imprints, strengthen your inner guidance, and connect you to your higher purpose in this life. But keep in mind that they are powerful amplifiers and serve as magnifying lenses to show you all that is within you, the good and the bad, so that you can transform it and become more prepared for your life mission and play your part in the planetary revelation process. Rasayana. Rasayana, at 11th century, Persian chemist and physician named Abu Rayyan Biruni reported that in India they have an alchemy-like science peculiar to them, which in Sanskrit is called Rasayana, a word compounded from rasa, it is to say, gold, an art confined to certain operations of compound medicines, most of which are extracted from plants. It means the art of obtaining and manipulating rasa from nectar and juice. This art was restricted to certain operation metals, compounds, and medicines. Indian alchemy, like any other Indian science, focuses on finding the moksha, which means liberation and perfection. As such, it focuses its efforts on the transformation of the human body. Many are the traditional stories of alchemists still alive since time immemorial due to the effects of their experiments. Achieving the panacea is an esoteric yogi and contemplative exercise focused on various levels of transformation. Rasayana therapy enriches the rasa with nutrients to help one attain memory, intelligence, health, youth, excellence of radiance, completion and voice, optimal development of the body and sense organs, mastery of phonetics, respectability, and brilliance. In many Indian households, Rasayana juices are prepared from pumpkin fruit and served as a drink, dessert, or as an accompaniment to meals. In the Tulunadu region of India, banana and mango Rasayana is made by mixing fruit pulp with cow's milk or coconut milk to a thick consistency. This Rasayana can be drunk as a juice by diluting it with water or milk. Thick in consistency, it is used as an accompaniment to chapati cake at meals. Other Rasayana is known as lassi or yogurt. Many believe that this food helps to combat the heat of Indian summers. Rasayana is often given to devotees as prasadam or blessed food. In this case, it consists of thin banana slices, milk or curd, sugar and honey. In a number of alchemical works, legendary figures called Rasa Siddhas were evoked as founders of alchemical lineages and traditions. These were part of a broader medieval religious current, which saw the emergence of various groups that identified themselves as Siddhas, perfected being possessed of Siddhis or superpowers. A rich mythology of Siddhas emerged in this period, portraying these legendary supermen combining alchemy with the practice of yoga and tantric techniques. These groups were responsible for internalizing much of laboratory alchemy into yogic practice. Archetypes. During his many decades of research into the mystery and complexity of the human psyche, Carl Gustav Jung engaged in a concerted focus on comparative religion, ethnology, and esoteric contemplative practices. His explorations of Eastern alchemical disciplines included a deep resonance with many of the major principles and practices found in Taoism and Buddhism and the Tantric Buddhism of Tibet. In particular, would provide inspiration and confirmation for many of his psychological discoveries. This would lead him to a further exploration of medieval European alchemy, which further supported and expanded many of his earlier theories. In these traditions, he found the profession of the person divine imaginary that included abstract forms such as the mandala, as well as personified archetypal representations such as Buddha and Christ, and in Tibetan Tantra, as in his own psychotherapeutic methods, such as mythic imaginary, was employed through creative visualization as a dynamic means of healing and transformation. The intention of alchemy is to purify and mature substances into their higher forms. Ancient practices focused on transforming matter from one state to another, such as turning metal into gold. Tibetan alchemy is no different, considering that alchemy is widespread throughout the world, including Asia. In fact, the people of Tibet have practiced alchemy for millennia and use the practice in their daily lives. Being able to transform matter from one state to another requires a lifetime of practice and skill to perfect. Breaking news. Ukrainian-Russian negotiators. Significant progress made in ceasefire talks. Russian and Ukrainian negotiators said Sunday that there has been progress in talks to possibly end of the more than 2-week-old conflict, with the results coming within days. We all want peace. Wall Street is once again the safe haven since the start of the war. Tech stocks have been the main losers. The lower dependence of the US on Russian raw materials, such as oil and gas, underpins Wall Street's rise compared to Europe. A fact that also makes the green currency strong, thanks to being a more export-oriented economy than the European one. Strong earthquakes in the Philippines and Indonesia. A strong 6.4 magnitude earthquake struck the Philippines early Monday morning, approximately 5 a.m. local time in the Luzon region. Some storm intensifies. A major crack has opened in the Earth's magnetic field, one of the largest in years. Solar wind is pouring in to intensify the geomagnetic storm. A coronal mass ejection hit Earth's magnetic field on Sunday, March 13th. The impact triggered a moderately strong G2 class geomagnetic storm. The geomagnetic storm could persist through today, Monday, March 14th, as the Earth passes through the wake of the coronal mass. Solar storm. Our planet should brace for a triple threat. From space, a massive solar storm is expected to hit Earth as early as today, Monday, March 14th. According to space weather physicist Dr. Tamita Skov. In addition, aurora light shows can be expected at Earth's mid-latitudes. According to Gustav, usually auroras are visible in high-latitude areas, but the solar storm will offer a chance to see the light show for those living closer to the equator. A solar storm occurs when a type of disturbance occurs on the Sun, for example a solar flare, plasma burst or geomagnetic storm. Climate engineering. Weapon that can bring people to their knees without them knowing they are under attack. Geoengineering expert Dane Wigington called climate engineering the crown jewel weapon of the military-industrial complex. It is a weapon that can bring people to their knees without them realizing they are under attack. It can target crops and it can have a cognitive effect. In quotes, we have an IQ decrease of 6 to 9 points. That's staggering, Wigington said during a recent episode of the Alex Jones Show. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.